GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
What's up, rock soldiers? Welcome to another episode of All Bets Are Off, and today we are continuing to break down the Rolling Stones' top 50 hair metal albums of all time. We got Chaz back in the house. Chaz?
Yo, thank you for delaying me months and months. The people missed us.
I know. Halloween and things and life.
How was your Halloween?
It was good. How about you?
Yeah, it was Halloween.
It was Halloween.
I don't have children, so I don't get to have fun like.
Fair enough. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the last two Halloween episodes, the Scream Breakdown with Maddie Vegas and Katrina Weidman of Paranormal Lockdown, and of course a ton of other shows. If you haven't listened to them yet, go back and check them out. And now we're back. We got to finish up this list.
Yeah, we got to get moving.
We got two more episodes on this list, and today we're doing 20 to 11.
A lot of the bands back in the mid-'80s, before they made it, self-promotion became key in promoting your band.
The whole Sunset Strip was a big confetti factory, from the whiskey all the way up to the Gazzaris.
You couldn't walk down the street without seeing a band putting up flyers.
Poison definitely were the Hollywood kings of promotion. They pimped their out so well.
And we put all of our money, whatever we had left, we put them into these ugly lime green flyers. And the reason we used them is because they were so cheap and no one else wanted to use them. There's always sort of flyer wars.
We'd be putting our posters up on the telephone.
Yeah, before we jump right in and break it down, let's just make sure we shout out unchainedmuscle.uk for all your gym needs. Make sure you use RVegas20 at checkout to save 20%. I'm talking gym bags, hats, shaker bottles, shorts, tank tops, men's, women's, and of course they donate to mental health charity for your purchase. So, you're going to hate me.
I think you're going to hate me.
This,
for the record, I already do hate you.
I know. And Maddie Vegas is here wandering around.
Oh, hey.
So she may throw in her 2 cents here and there. I drew a little face on here.
I see that.
Yeah.
Looks like Dilbert.
So should we do our guesses?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. What's your guess for me?
I think your number one's going to be... I'm just going to say Cinderella.
Cinderella. You think my number one's going to be Cinderella?
I do, because... This is a tough list for me to find a number one for you, so I'm just gonna go ahead.
It was for me, for you too. So I can cop out, because there's a certain artist on this list that's featured twice.
Okay,
so I could just say Warrant and have a 20% chance of being right for you.
True.
So I think my number one for you is Warrant, Dirty Rotten, Filthy Stinkin' Rich.
Okay,
all right.
So do you want to start breaking it down?
Let's do it.
All right. Let me pull up the official list so we can go in order here.
No, it's the Rolling Stone list, not the official list.
So, first one is a band that I never heard of before. So this is Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room, that came out in 1990.
Now, I believe you do know a member of the band.
Do I?
I believe the singer of this band is Jizzy Pearl.
Oh, okay.
So,
that would explain why they're on the list. So.
Right, yeah, I didn't know that upon listening to it. I didn't know that at first, and I listened to it and still didn't know it, and then I found that out later. It didn't change my opinion of the album at all.
Okay.
My opinion of the album is I don't know. It was just it doesn't fit, I feel, almost with the glam scene. I mean, I know maybe they looked glam, but this had a little more funk elements to it, even more than some of those ones we talked about in the past.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The thing is I didn't hate it.
Right.
I mean, it was good. There were certain tracks that I thought were really good. My standout track was Fuel to Run.
Fuel to Run?
Yeah, I thought that was a really good track. Overall, though, I definitely did not hate this album.
It had its, sleaziness, and maybe that's why people think it's, hair metal style. Mm-hmm. The song that always stuck out to me is Why Do You Think They Call It Dope? It's just a little funky, little punky. It's like a gritty band. It almost sounds I like to make my comparisons. This band sounds like one of these glam bands had a baby with Living Colour.
Okay, yeah.
Because it has a lot of that funky feel, and the guitar player was very similar, a lot of those riffs to Living Colour. When I like Living Colour. And
so do I.
I liked this. It just never, it didn't wow me, it didn't floor me. In either way, I didn't vomit in my mouth, which I have in the past.
I could see why this is on the list. Threw me off that it was high.
That's very high.
Yeah, above, again, like we always say, Mr. Big.
Right, and but this whole list, and thankfully it's at the end of this list, is Killer, and this one just doesn't fit. It doesn't belong in this section.
Okay.
In my opinion, this should be up in. If it's going to be on there, sure. I liked it better than a lot of the other ones we've listened to, but it's up in the 30s maybe.
Okay.
You
Fair
know?
enough. Fair
so
enough.
if people want to listen to it, it's different. You know, it is different. Like if you like a little more funkiness, if you like Living Color, check it out.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
But there's not just... I mean, I think you feel the same way. There's really not a lot to say about it. Just,
I mean, I enjoyed, I want to say that I enjoyed probably the first like 75% of it before I started getting a little tired of it. So I can't really say that I thought it was too bland because, like I said, my list might shock you. So it just, you know, it was what it was. It was cool for a first time listen.
Right, it was because it was new to us and fresh, but
Yeah.
like thinking about it now, I mean, it's been a week or two since I actually like dug into it. Nothing really sticks out. I can't think of like a killer guitar solo. I just remember a lot of cool riffs and a lot of cool
That's true.
bass lines and a lot of cool funkiness. But his vocals didn't really stick out.
No, the vocals didn't stick out at all, but I did enjoy the bass tracks on this. I really did.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
Yeah.
funky bass.
Whoever this bass player is, I thought he was really
He
good.
was the star of the band, and like because we mentioned Jizzy Pearl, he ended up, what was it, Rat? I think he ended up replacing Stephen Pearcy like in the 2000s of Rat.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that.
You're right. But I did just research, and I see that the bass player for this album was Skid Rose, as in the flower.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, nice. Well, is
Good
it
job, Mr. Skid.
right? And then I believe the band Skid Row was already out by this point.
Yeah.
So
3 years strong.
Right, it's a little much there, buddy. But
Yeah.
props to you.
Yeah.
Props to you. I hope
He was
that-
the star.
he was the star, for sure, for sure.
So next, we're going on to number 19 with Warrant, Cherry Pie. I love Warrant.
Oh, we both love Warren. In this list, we already mentioned there's 2 Warren albums.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Cherry Pie was listed lower on the list than Dirty Rotten?
I was, only because that's their biggest hit, but for all intents and purposes, I understand why the other album was.
But they were both so
higher.
good.
They were, yeah, both of these. I mean, this one has a cover on it. Train is not their song.
No.
But, I mean, Blind Faith.
Well, let's stick with this album. The big hits on this album, the big hit
Yeah.
on this album is obviously Cherry,
Cherry
Pie.
Pie.
But there's a big ballad hit on this.
Which one? There's a few.
I know.
Well, Bed of Roses was a hit. Blind Faith was a hit. Uncle Tom's Cabin was a hit.
Great song.
Their biggest ballad was probably I Saw Red.
Yes, that's the one
Yeah.
that sticks out.
Mr. Rainmaker was also a
I
hit.
love that song.
That's
too.
probably, yeah.
But like really, like I Saw Red. I had to double check because sometimes I confuse these 2 albums because they're
Yeah.
similar.
They are.
In the sense that they have a lot of good pop hits, good ballad hits. So, but this one to me, I listened to a lot more growing up, just
Yeah.
because it was the big album.
Yeah.
Little fact that people might not know about the song Uncle Tom's Cabin, and maybe you know, that sweet guitar intro. Who plays it?
Oh, I know this, but now I'm going to draw a blank because I'm on the spot.
We talked about him prior in this.
I
list.
know. I'm sure we did because everybody played with everybody.
That is actually written and performed by one CeCe DeVille.
Oh, okay.
From
Okay.
Poison.
Yeah.
So I always thought it was cool. I never knew that. And it was like, I would always give their guitar players props, and their guitar players are good in this band.
Yeah, of course.
But
they are.
that was always like the thing that stood out to me. And then as I got older, I realized, oh, it's from one of your favorite guitar players.
of all time, yeah.
So it was cool.
And you know, I don't know if I said it, but this album came out in 1990. And Janie Lane is probably one of my favorite frontmen of all time. So I have a soft spot for Warrant in general. So I'm super, super happy that they're on here twice.
Yes.
Because they're both so solid.
And they're high. That's high praise.
Yeah.
There's 2 albums in the top 20 for them. And that's a band that people... I always said I think Warrant was the last big of the hair metal bands.
I think so too. At least like to that level. They're just... They reached that level of greatness.
They did. I mean, they had you had your cliche big hit and your big, ballad. And for me, what was this, 90?
90.
So this was the same time as that last album.
Yes.
How different.
How
you know?
different, yeah,
But to
exactly.
me, I actually was born in 1986. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember this. I remember this song on MTV. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
It was one of the first memories I have. One of the first bands I liked from MTV was this.
Yeah, because that was when they actually played music videos all the time. But I remember even being like 6 or 7 years old, and this video was played constantly.
Well, because it was a great video. Like, yeah, you have, what was it, Bobby Brown? Was that her name?
Yeah, that was her name.
So, running around on skates, being all sexual. But the video was just cool. Like, it just had a lot of cool things to it. It followed the lyrics.
Yeah.
It did a lot of fun stuff. It was just a fun video.
Janie Lane actually married her. Yeah, they were married. He took her away from a member of Nelson.
She upgraded. She definitely upgraded. There you go. Nelson's not on this list. Spoiler.
There's spoiler.
Spoiler. You know what? Maybe they should be over some things, but never mind. We're gonna keep going. I like this album.
Me too, a lot.
And I don't want to spend too much time on it because we got the other one to talk to as well. And they're both so good. And I mean, obviously the other one's ranked higher on this list.
Yeah. And we did get to see Janie before he passed away, which was really cool.
One of the first bands I remember really seeing. Like,
yeah.
it was his solo, right? He was solo. He wasn't
when we saw him? Yeah. No, it was Warren.
He was with them? Because I think I saw him solo too.
Because I remember us sitting there debating what they were going to open up with, which we, decided it would be Down Boys, and it was.
Yeah. Poor thing for Janie Lane. I know you loved him, but like towards the end of his life, he wasn't sounding too good, and then he started to come back.
Yeah. When we did that Celebrity Fit Club and all that stuff. Yeah, and he started
to feel better and sound better, but the times we were seeing him, he really wasn't that good then.
I do remember enjoying it just because it was him.
Right.
But it's I'm seeing Janie Lane.
It's like seeing Paul Stanley now.
Right. It's not the same.
You love him, but I mean, Paul Stanley's my guy, but he's just not what he used to be. And then I remember him getting to sound better, unfortunately. Did he OD? What happened to him? Do you remember?
I thought he did, but I could be wrong.
Because I know he was clean, but I remember being surprised that he passed away.
Maybe. And
I know, like, he did, we mentioned it before, he was on that Monster Ballad, or the Monster Christmas album.
Yes.
He did Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Awesome. I loved his version of that.
Yes, and Janie actually died from alcohol poisoning.
So that's
what it was.
That's OD.
Yeah, that's OD.
It's ODing on something.
He looked very different than he did.
Yeah, he's a handsome, blonde hair, blue eyed guy in those videos. But if you look at him in the 2000s, man, he was a little rough.
We saw him in 2001. Yeah. So those guys are still fairly young. Yeah, at that point.
It's 11 years after Cherry Pie.
Right. That's not that long.
No, like what came out 11 years ago from now? Like Mumford and Son.
Yeah,
those guys look exactly the same. Like,
right. But we were like 13 and 14 in 2001, so to us, they was probably like, "Oh, we're seeing these
dinosaurs, man.
We better see them now."
Well, we were right.
Yeah, well, in some cases we were. But let's roll on number 18.
Keep it rolling.
Is Cinderella with Night Songs, which is my favorite title of an album.
It's a cool album.
I just love that, and it came out in 1986. So this was in the thick of the shit.
The thick of the shit. Okay, that works for me. Yeah, 86, like we said, great year. Cinderella, it took me a while to get into. He's not the type of singer I enjoy, as you guys know from this list. But he's really good at it.
You just saw Tom Kiefer
I did
2 weeks ago.
I did, and I'll give him his props. He started off a little cold. It was a little unsettling at first, but once he warmed up 3 songs in, he sounded great. He was fantastic.
I mean, they're one of my favorites. They always have been. You know that. I know you used to pick on a friend of ours when we were growing up for loving Cinderella.
Yes, I did.
But in our defense, he hated Poison.
Yeah, so
we used to fight.
Cinderella was a band. My brother, shout out to Guido, he loves them. He always liked him. That's who I went to see Tom Kiefer with. To me, the Night Songs album is good. I like that. I like Long Cold Winter, both of them about 60%.
Okay.
So if you can combine the songs that I like on each of them, it'd be a great album. There's a few songs that I just like, I'm bored.
I forgot to pick a song from the Warren album before we moved on.
So did I.
I'm going to say Bed of Roses for that before we do it for this one.
Bed of Roses, and for me, I think if I want to point people to listen to it, it's the one I mentioned, Mr. Rainmaker.
Okay.
It's a great song. It's just fun.
I changed my favorite song on that album the other day. Yeah. But back to Cinderella. Right. Being the huge Cinderella fan that I am, it was hard for me to pick a favorite on this one, but I got to stick with Shake Me.
Yeah, that's what you're going with?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Somebody Save Me. I think that's like their most rockin' song.
It is.
That's like almost their Motley Crue song.
Yeah.
And like, I like that. He doesn't, he does do that fake whiny voice a little bit in there, but not too much.
Very generic cover, too. The 4 guys with the giant hair standing in a weird alley. Just like, we're in an alley, so therefore, this is Night Songs.
It's very similar to Leather Boys with Electric Toys.
Yeah, exactly. It almost looks identical, to be honest. Colors, even.
It is,
looks identical.
And they're not similar bands by all. Like I said, when we were talking about Pretty Boy Floyd before, I just assumed they were.
Right.
It's that aesthetic thing. Mm-hmm. Tom Kiefer, I know I always harp on it, but when he sings, like, say, Heartbreak Station, and he's just doing his normal voice, he sounds so much better.
His solo album is amazing. Amazing.
Which one?
The most recent one. I can't remember the name.
I just saw him on tour for it.
Yeah. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it is incredible. I do a couple songs off of it just because I love it so much. But in that album, he uses his actual voice a lot more than he does with Cinderella, and it's really good. Like, in my opinion, any of these guys who do albums now, they won't get the credit that they got in the 80s.
No, never.
But a lot of the albums that they're coming out with now are better than some of the things that they were doing in the 80s.
Wow.
They're seasoned veterans at this point. But they just don't get that same, like, oh, did you hear so-and-so came out with another album and it's amazing? Because, well, yeah, his first album came out in 85, so people don't want to admit that these guys are still pumping out hits.
But I want to give props to people like that, to people like Tom Kiefer and whoever else put out
Sebastian Bach comes out with an album every year.
Because then you got people like Gene Simmons that are like, we're not going to put out an album because no one's going to buy it.
Right.
Well, then now you sound like a money-grubbing asshole like everybody says you are.
Right.
You're supposed to be doing it for the love of the music, for the art form. How many albums do you think Tom Kiefer sold? 2,000?
I would assume more than that.
But, like, still,
I know what you mean, though.
Like, you know, he's out there and he does it. And he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, same thing with guys like Michael Sweet. You know,
Michael
Stryper
Sweet is
in
better
general.
than ever.
Yeah. His new album that came out a couple weeks ago is fantastic.
Yeah, he's
and
better.
we're straying into all different albums that aren't even on this list right now.
Because that's where we go. So for the people that don't know Cinderella, if you want to hear what Cinderella sounds like, go with Robbie's take of Shake Me. But if you want to hear something a little harder, a little more on the side of like Motley Crue, go with Somebody Save. Not Somebody Shake Me.
No.
Don't do that.
Don't
because
confuse
that's especially in the urinal.
You know. Number 17 is going to be Def Leppard, Pyromania, which came out in 1983, which is not the oldest album on this list, but it's up there. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about Def Leppard. We've seen them how many times?
So many times. How good is this album? Like, it's just so it's a very like there's the hits. And then there's the songs you don't know, and a lot of the songs you don't know are just killer. Like, you're gonna know the hits. You're gonna know Photograph.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna know Foolin'. You're gonna know Rock of Ages. What else? What else is
Rock. You have to know Rock.
Right. But, like, the songs that I picked, like, so for the hit song, I mean, I'm gonna just say Photograph because it's just such a good song.
That's what I picked.
But, like, my favorite songs on the album were Stage Fright and Too Late.
Okay.
Because Stage Fright, what is that, track 2? Track 3? Track 3. So it's right after Photograph. So you have your Poppy song and Photograph. Stage Fright sounds like a Judas Priest song.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
It's a very heavy song, and Too Late is a very good song, too, for, like, kind of the deep cuts. And, like, I just like Def Leppard's hits. So, like, these deep cuts to me are, like, new.
Yeah.
Because I've only really gotten into to the Leppard in the past few years more, on the deeper side.
I would say same. Actually, the first time we saw them live, I didn't care for them going into it.
I agree with you completely. The
Yeah.
first time we saw them live, we went to see the opening act.
Poison.
Which was Poison. And then we were just like, cool, Def Leppard's here. And I'll tell you what, this was 2012 maybe, we'll say.
Maybe. Could be a little earlier.
They blew me away. Mm-hmm. And I've seen them like 6 times since. And I became a fan after seeing these guys in 2012.
Yeah, same.
They're fantastic.
And not to say that I didn't enjoy any of their songs prior.
Right.
Like, there was a few, like, I always loved Photograph and, you know, stuff like that. But going into it, I was like, I'm only here for Poison. I wouldn't have paid to see just Def Leppard.
And now I have.
Yeah, exactly.
I have, because... And that's in 2012. That's 30 years in or something for them at that point.
Yeah.
So that's like... That's props to them. They really bring it live. I've seen them live 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
Never been disappointed.
Yeah, I've seen them 5 times, and every time I'm like, they just blow my mind.
Yeah.
They made me a fan because their live show was so good, and it made me go back and really get into the...
And for us, just saying what we said a few albums ago about Janie Lane, unfortunately not being able to bring it. If Janie Lane would have sounded like that and we weren't a fan, we wouldn't have been a fan.
Right.
So that's saying, like, good job on Def Leppard to, like, you know, come out there with all 9 arms and just, like... and bring it
too soon.
Too soon. Great album. I really do enjoy this album. This one, there's a lot of albums on here that I had a hard time ranking.
Yeah, me
I
too.
really did. I was afraid you weren't going to like this one. I don't know why.
No, you'll hate me for other reasons.
Oh, it better not be the one. It better not be the one I'm thinking.
It's probably more than one.
If it's the one I'm thinking, I'm not coming back.
It's probably more than one. All right, let's move on.
Moving on. We're blowing through these.
We are, and I don't know what's happening here, but we are making good time. Number 16 is Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry from 1984.
Hello, students. School has begun. The summer is over. I am in command. What was that? For that little outburst, each and every one of you will spend 3 hours in detention today, immediately after school, in the basement. What do you think you're doing? Twisted Sister. What kind of a man desecrates a defenseless textbook? I've got a good mind to slap your fat face. Yes! All right, Mr. Sister! I want you to tell me! No, better yet, stand up and tell the class! What do you want to do with your life? I want to rock!
Dee Snider raised all kinds of hell
Yes.
back in the 80s.
Yes.
He's doing it again.
He's
currently.
still always.
But now it's about having metal bands at the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's his new crusade, is why don't we have metal bands at the Super
That's
Bowl?
a cool crusade to get in.
I mean, the guy's just always looking for his next big publicity
Right.
stunt, you know?
He's a star.
I mean, you file your teeth down to be sharp,
Right.
and, you go in saying...
Captain
you know,
Howdy.
Yeah, Captain Howdy.
Good movie.
Doing all, yeah, for sure. He did great in his horror film.
I think he's just a star.
Dee Snider himself is a star, yes.
Yes.
I agree with that. So why don't you take this album to start?
I like this album a whole lot. Like, this album, for me, it's just always been one of my favorites. It's got all the hits that you can think of. It's got We're Not Gonna Take It. It's got Stay Hungry. Does it have See You in Hell, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Burnin' Hell.
Burnin'
See
Hell,
You in
sorry.
Hell, yeah.
And it's got I Want to Rock.
I Want to Rock.
Like, it's just, this is the quintessential awesome album from this band. One of the shout out to our good friend and big listener, Chris Jericho. Fozzy does a cover of Stay Hungry.
Hey, Chris.
Fozzy does a real good cover of Stay Hungry.
Yes.
And,
yeah, they
you
do.
know, and
They
like,
do.
Stay Hungry is just a great song. It's just got the Price on it. The Price could be up for ballad of the list. This is just a great album, I think.
And Jericho's backing Dee Snider on this crusade for the Super Bowl.
Well, of course he is.
So just also, Chris, thank you again for the fruit basket. We just keep getting them.
Yeah.
We just keep getting them weekly.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So here's where I make you angry. I don't like this album.
Oh, come on. You're crushing me.
We're Not Gonna Take It is okay. I think it's super overplayed.
Sure.
I love I Want to Rock. I love that song. I will always love that song. It was one of the first hair metal songs I ever loved. But for me, the rest of this album just doesn't do it. I get bored. So when I'm listening to it, I'm just kind of like, nothing special. So
See, I think the opposite. Like, that's so weird because, like, to me, it's just like a good rock, nearly metal album.
I told you there was going to be 2 albums on this list that you were going to be like, what the hell?
Surprising because like, The Price is like a real good ballad that you wouldn't expect from them.
Well, I
The
will say,
Beast,
I like
SMF.
Stay Hungry, but I actually like Fozzie's version
Fozzie's
better.
version is great.
Yeah.
I mean, but that has a lot to do with it being updated.
That's true.
Just
That's
better
true.
recording quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm offended right now that you don't like this album. I'm very offended.
It just doesn't do it for me. Something about it just doesn't connect with me. I like Dee Snider. I think he's a star. I think he's an amazing frontman. So I'm not taking anything away from him. And I like his horror movie. And he's making a new one currently, which I can't wait to see.
I think this band is almost underrated though. Like, nobody ever talks about the guitar players. Nobody ever talks about the drummer, and they're all good. Like, there's a lot of good solos in here. The riff, and this is early. What year is this? 83.
This was 84.
84. So it's still early.
Yeah.
It's still early in the thing. Like, it's right before the hair metal. Like, it's almost, if he didn't dress in that makeup, this wouldn't be a hair metal album.
I'll give you that, but hair metal was part of the look, not just the sound.
Right.
So
if he didn't look like the way he did, just because like songs like Burn in Hell and SMF and The Beast, those are metal songs.
But see, I agree, but even like Burn in Hell, like for me, halfway through it, I was like, all right, I get it.
So yeah, I'm offended. I can't. I'm surprised. I'm surprised in you. I am surprised in you.
I knew you would. I knew you would be.
I mean, thinking about it, no, maybe not, because you like a little more of the bluesy stuff. Like, I have a feeling one of the albums that I strongly dislike is one that you like.
On this list?
Yes.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
We might just have that exact opposite opinion on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Just when it comes to that.
Maybe.
But I'm just surprised that it's that you didn't say it's on the bottom of your list, that you don't like it at all. That's crazy to me.
Let's do our pick for it though.
Well, Stay Hungry.
Okay, mine's I Want to Rock.
Okay, yeah, Stay Hungry to me, and Don't Slip on the Price as ballad. That for me, that could end up as the ballad of the list too, which is a very good song.
Okay.
So I'm surprised. Folks.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Robbie doesn't like it.
We're gonna move on. All right. So number 15 is Quiet Riot with Metal Health, 1983.
Old.
So this is another older one. Now that the list is moving on, I feel like we're getting into the ones that kicked it off, the ones that started the trend, so to speak.
Similar to Stay Hungry, this has got the hits that you would think of.
Metal Health, Come On, Feel the Noise are the first 2 tracks.
Yes. And then you just take the needle off the album, walk away, right? I was unfamiliar with this album other than those 2 songs.
I knew probably 4 tracks on it, which is not a lot.
More than me. Like, I literally only knew those 2.
So what did you think?
I actually really like this album, too.
I love this album.
And you don't like Stay Hungry? That's so weird. To me, they're so similar.
I don't think so. I think that this song has a great ballad on it with Thunderbird. Of course, Metal Health, if you're a hair metal anything, that's like a great anthem. But overall, I didn't really think there was a bad track on this album. I didn't skip anything.
It did get a little bit of boring at some points to me. Like, dragged a little bit towards the end to me. But, like, not in a bad way. The song that I picked as the star of the album was Breathless.
Oh, okay.
It's a song I didn't know. It's a good rock song. Probably the heaviest song on the album.
Yeah, I would say.
Driving, you know, almost punk.
Yeah.
And this might have been my biggest surprise on this list.
Well, here's the thing with this band, though. Quiet Riot, at this point, is not new. These guys have been around since the late 70s.
Right, and this is post Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
Like, and nobody even, like, yeah, Randy Rhoads was in there, but nobody I don't even think he recorded anything with them.
They don't even speak English, but they sing in English. Let's just throw that out there.
Not a lot of bands do.
That's true. The Scorpions were like that, too.
Scorpions.
Which I don't know if they were on this list.
No, I don't think they're too old, though. They started, like, in 68.
Oh, did they really?
Dude, they were, like, real, like...
But Quiet Riot was around for a long time before they blew up.
Right.
This album was their biggest album before, since, any time.
Well, technically, this was the kickoff of everything.
Yeah.
This album went to number 1.
Did.
So this was before almost anything else other than, like, that terrible Michael Monroe thing.
There's one. There's one that came before this that had chart-topping hits. Well, it's in the top 10.
Crue still,
right.
too, a little, but this went to number 1.
Yeah.
None of those did. So that's why, like, this kicked it off. This was the first one. This was, like, the birth of it all. And I literally just kind of judged it off of the first 2 hits, which I liked.
Yeah, of course.
And
they're
I
great
never
songs.
just delved into it. It was much better than I expected.
So what was your pick? What was your track?
Breathless was my track.
Okay, so mine is Thunderbird for sure.
So you like, and that's your ballad too?
That's the ballad.
See,
yeah.
that was a cool song. It was just kind of corny at the same time, I felt. A little cheesiness to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
But it was so good.
It was a great song.
Yeah.
I don't mean to shit on it. I wanted to make it my pick, but it was just kind of like, some of the things he was singing about just kind of like turned me off at the end. But I definitely recommend.
All right, then we are going to move on to number 14 with Warrant again.
Dirty, rotten, filthy, stinking, rich.
And this came out in 89.
80.
So this came out before Cherry Pie.
Those are back to back. I didn't realize they were that close.
Yeah. Now, this album is almost complete hits.
Yes.
There's almost no tracks on this that weren't a hit.
Yes.
So,
just read off the list. Go ahead.
So it starts with 32 Pennies, Down Boys, Big Talk, Sometimes She Cries, So Damn Pretty, great song.
By the way, all of those you just said are on their greatest hits album.
Yes, except for So Damn Pretty.
No, it is, I think.
Is it on the greatest hits?
I think
so. Okay. Dirty Rotten Filthy Rich, of course, was on the greatest hits. In the Sticks, Heaven, Riding High, and Cold Sweat.
Yeah.
So really only 3 tracks on this album were not on the greatest hits.
Right, and their greatest hits came out late. This wasn't like a greatest hits in 1992.
No, this was like, I think it came out in 99 or 2000.
Yeah, it was like a later one.
Yeah. So this album, of course, as you know, because you know me, I'm in love with this album. I'm in love with this
That's
album.
why I picked this as your number 1.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We'll have to see. What can you say that's bad about it? It's just a really good album. At first, I was like surprised. Like I said, it was above Cherry Pie, but after like re-listening to them, it belongs where it is.
It does. And Sometimes She Cries, I think, might be Janie Lane's best vocal performance.
Awesome.
I can't believe the notes that he hits in that song. He's young. He, can I steal a line from you?
Sure.
Happened to be quite handsome.
Okay.
And
it happens sometimes. Funny story
and
about
he was
that.
just on fire at the time. He was a kid.
Oh yeah. Well, funny story I heard about Warrant was this was their first album, right? Their first major album.
Yeah.
There's
the first major album.
There's a comedian, Dean Delray, right? And I heard him telling the story in a podcast, so I'll take his word for it. He was in bands in the 80s in LA, and he had the trademark of the name Warrant.
Really?
So in like 87, 86 or whatever, Janie Lane bought it off of him.
Really?
So like, yeah,
wow.
I heard that on his podcast. So
That's cool.
Because if you think about it, it's just a random name, Warrant.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's better than Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
No,
or Kicks. Kicks.
It's a great album. I mean, you mentioned Sometimes She Cries, definitely candidate for the ballad of the list, but then there's Heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough for me to decide what track I was going to pick off of this.
Right.
But if you want people to get into Warrant, I would say listen to Down Boys.
That's exactly what I picked.
Yeah.
Down Boys. That's just a great, fun song.
And it's hair metal, like, personified.
Right.
Like, that's what hair metal is.
It's poppy, it's sing-along-y, it's funny. It's fun-ny, not funny. Funnish.
It's fun.
Here's a question off the top of your head. Rank the 3 ballads from them we talked about. Sometimes She Cries, Heaven, and I Saw Red.
I would do Sometimes She Cries as number 1.
I would too.
I would do Heaven is number 2.
Look at us. We're on
And
the same
Sometimes
page
She
with
Cries
that.
is
Yeah,
number 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same? Yeah.
Or no, I Saw Red's number 3.
Yeah, is that what I said?
Yeah, you said so. Sometimes
said
She Cries
Sometimes She
1.
Cries twice?
Yeah, it's that good.
It's that good.
It made it twice.
It actually kicked I Saw Red off completely and took 2 spots.
Well, still to this day, we cover Heaven all the time.
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
did it last week.
We did.
I think we used to do I Saw Red.
We used to do that, yeah.
I don't remember
We did.
it, though.
I don't either.
It's
but I
probably-
remember thinking it was like the coolest thing to play.
It's warranted. It's in G.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's
right.
gotta be.
And again, Janie Lane is one of my favorite singers of all time.
And he writes a lot of those.
He does.
So
yeah.
we never give
Super
the band.
talented guy.
We don't give the band any love, but
I know.
Janie was the band. I saw Warrant without Janie a couple times, but I went to see them at like a smaller venue
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
With Jamie St. James singing.
Oh, okay.
And it was good. It was just a good show.
Notice how every episode we've done of the Rolling Stones so far, we've always talked about guitar players and the bands and this and that. This 10 so far, we've only really talked about the singers.
This isn't a guitar-driven list.
Well,
Like these guitar players aren't bad.
They're not, but the problem is that the other guitar players on the other list have just smoked
that was
everybody.
murderous.
Now we're getting into the catchier bands with the better singers.
Right, true.
Whereas before it was just like shredding and, whatever.
There's still some to come on this list.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But when I saw them with Jamie St. James, who was on this list before, Jamie St. James is the singer, Black and Blue.
Black and Blue, right.
They were good. I think Janie was still alive at this point.
Are
but
we
just-
like rock and roll historians?
pretty much?
Because we're just throwing names and years and bands around like nobody's business right
Hair
now.
metal history, Robbie and Chaz. Well, they still did all these songs when I seen them, and I think they're still together with
They are.
Robert Mason now.
Robert Mason is the singer, and
From
they're releasing albums
what
still.
band was he in? Was it Trickster?
Don't do that to me.
I can't remember.
It might have been. Oh, I love Trickster.
Was it Trickster? I can't remember. Don't quote us. I'm just.
If you know, tweet to us and let us know.
I'll look it up in a second.
right.
Do you remember how? So was that time that you seen Janie Lane, or was that time you seen Warrant with Janie Lane? Was that the only time you seen them?
Yes,
So you never saw them.
I've
with
never seen them
anybody?
without Janie, which is kind of cool.
I mean, that's a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
He really was only in the band 10 years.
Yeah, when they got back together and we saw them, he didn't live much longer.
No, he
A couple
did.
years.
No, he did. He died in like.
Janie died in 2011.
So pretty
okay, so it was
late.
10 years
Yeah.
after we saw him.
That's what I thought. He
Yeah.
was around.
Wow, he was from Akron, Ohio. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Very cool. All right, so we just learned something new live on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought because he did that Celebrity Rehab a while
That's
after
right. That's
we
right.
saw
It was
him.
after we saw him, not before.
So-
That Celebrity Fit Club, right?
Or whatever.
Oh, he did both.
Was he on Rehab
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Because I remember him being on.
VH1 did that whole special where they were
Yeah.
getting all the musicians back in shape and ready
Yeah,
for their
because
comeback.
I just have this thing in my head of him went out drinking or something the night before and then went and did hot yoga.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
was like dying.
You're absolutely
I
right.
just remember that.
was one of the episodes,
Yeah.
and they were all hard on him because he had a problem, and he was just live on TV, not caring about that problem.
You said hard on.
I did.
Well, I'll tell you what. Speaking of segue, I have a hard on for this album. This is a great album.
The next album or
Well,
this album?
This one.
Okay.
I don't know what the next one is, but off the top of my head. But
So the next one is Extreme Porno Graffiti.
Stream 2.
Extreme 2, sorry.
Okay.
Came out in 1990, same year as Cherry Pie, which was a good year for
Same year
for
as
music.
Lean Into It?
Same year as Lean Into
Yeah.
It. There's a lot of good albums that came out that year, but I still...
That was the end of it.
It was the end of it, right. Firehouse and those bands still
Yeah.
had stuff coming out after that.
Right.
But, so, Extreme, this was a real funky album.
Yes.
This was barely hair metal. This was this was funk.
There's a certain song that makes it hair metal.
Agreed.
More Than Words, obviously. I mean, obviously a pick for the ballad of the album, but
sure.
also the guitar player is a pick for the guitarist of the list.
Yes, Nuno Bettencourt is one of my favorite guitarists of all time.
So good.
Of all time.
He's so good. The problem, I think Extreme would be one of my favorite bands if they had a different freaking singer that didn't write so corny.
Okay.
Some of his stuff just kills
Lyrically.
me. Lyrically.
Yeah, no, I
He's
agree.
a great singer.
Yeah.
But some of his lyrics, like, it's not on this album, but, like, if you just think of the song Play With Me, so terrible. The lyrics.
We have a little discrepancy here. Rolling Stone says that this came out in 90, but Discogs says 92.
No, it's 90.
It's
gotta
90?
be 90,
Okay.
yeah.
No, I agree with you about the lyrics. Here's a little fact for you. This was one of my first albums that I ever had.
Nice.
And I love the album, but I do agree with you. Like, the older I got, the more I was kind of like,
Yeah, he's just like, I can't, like, Play With Me has always stuck out in my head because that guitar solo is just absolutely absurdity, and I couldn't even picture playing it or any of this stuff really.
Yeah,
on this
right,
album.
right.
He's so good. He's up there. I've mentioned before. He's up there with Paul Gilbert as like these just phenoms that were thrown in with the hair metal, and that's it. That's all
Yeah.
you think about. They're so
He's
much
still
better.
touring. Nuno is still touring.
Well, I saw Extreme a couple years ago.
Well, no, he's touring on his own with Generation X.
Yes, and he was Rihanna's guitar player.
He was, yes,
For a
yes.
long time,
And he's got some solo stuff out there that he's done for movies.
He
and
looks
things
the
like
same,
that.
too.
Oh yeah,
He really
that
does.
guy doesn't age,
Right, he does.
And his fingers don't either, apparently, because he
Jesus
just
Christ, he's
shreds.
so good.
I don't know who's all in Generation X anymore. It was like a bunch of the best shredders of all time.
Well, it's just like a
But,
tour.
yeah.
It came. I think Steve Vai was there.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Tobin Ison from Animals as Leaders.
Zakk Wylde.
And Zakk Wylde.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to that, but I was working. I remember.
Same.
I couldn't go.
I thought Get the Funk Out is a fun song.
Yeah.
I always loved that one, always. But I still picked More Than Words as the one to listen to, because it's just such a well-written and performed song.
I think I didn't pick that as my thing because it could be the pick of the ballad of the list.
Mm-hmm.
I picked It's a Monster.
Okay.
Because that song is a monster for Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
those riffs are insane. The solo's insane, and a lot of people don't realize that Nuno Betancourt is the background singer.
Yes, he is.
So he's got a fantastic voice
Yeah,
too.
the guy's so talented, and I feel like not enough people know his name.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, absolutely.
Even to this day.
even with More Than Words, I mean that's a 2-part vocal harmony. The
Yes.
whole song,
Yep,
nearly.
for sure.
And that's him and Gary. It's not just Gary.
Right.
Gary's just corny. Like, if I just wish Gary, I would like this band so much if Gary wasn't in the band. Like, he even looks corny.
He does.
Like, he
does.
looks better now. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't want to say he kills the band for me, but this band's not even in, like, my top 10 from that era.
No, they're not mine
Just
either.
because
They're
of
not mine.
Gary. I
Yeah.
guarantee it, because the bass player's good, the drummer's good, Nuno's insane.
Yeah. And I also just want to say honorable mention to He-Man Woman Hater.
It's just a good album. It's a good album.
It is.
It's a fun album. They don't take any... It's like the album has this, like, light, like, whimsical sense with the music. Mm-hmm. And Gary ruins it a lot. He tries to get political all the time.
He does, yeah.
And, like, he's not clear in his politics. And I don't like politics in music anyway.
Right.
But
I don't believe in politics.
but I just don't like it in the music at any point. And I like punk music, so that's like a lot for me to say. But like, it's just he just ruins it a lot for me.
Fair. We know More Than Words was the hit off this album, but Wholehearted was a hit too.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, which is a great song.
It is a good song.
I'm not saying this album's not a good album.
And the surprising thing about Wholehearted is it's at the end of the album.
I know.
I don't think they expected it to be like a hit.
No, I don't think they expected either one of those to be a hit, to be honest with you.
No, by 1990, you're expecting more than
You're looking
this
for
to
the...
be a hit.
Yeah.
That's
They were looking for it, but
Right.
did they expect it to be as big as it was? Because this is one of the biggest hits of all time.
this year, More Than Words and To Be With You came out. We always lump those two bands together. They're so similar. Their paths are similar. Virtuoso guitar players. But Mr. Big takes the edge because they don't have Gary Cherone.
That's it.
Like, put Jizzy Pearl in this band. Like, I don't care.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
Gary
somebody.
kills it for me. Thank you for listening to the We Hate Gary Cherone podcast. Next, we'll be discussing Van Halen.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
So bad he got kicked out of Van Halen. And they make tons of bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the 90s.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll give you that.
You know,
I'll
he
give you
just...
that.
And did you ever listen to that album with him and Van Halen?
I did.
Do you remember it? Because I don't.
No,
Because
I
it
don't.
sucks.
I don't, yeah.
He just doesn't... Like, as much as people want to shit on David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth doesn't sing that well, but he's memorable.
Well, to be fair, you know me. I don't really care too much for Van
I don't care
Halen
about
anyway.
Van Halen, but I'm not a big Van Halen fan, but you know David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
You know Sammy. Sammy's got a good
course.
voice. Nothing sticks out with the Gary Cherone.
Agreed. I agree.
And he's a good singer. He
Yeah.
just doesn't... He's a cornball.
I agree.
Kick him out of the band. Replace him with Robbie Vegas.
All right, number 12 is Whitesnake with the self-titled Whitesnake from 1987. Great year, especially July.
Great. Dude. Whitesnake. Not the album with Steve Vai, right? I don't believe.
I don't think it is either.
No, I think
Let's
the
check.
next one was, right? This must be, what's his face?
Yeah, you're right. This is with John Sykes.
John Sykes. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah. So yeah, no, and of course, you know, David Coverdale coming from Deep Purple and all that stuff.
Well, now this is where people might be surprised that only kind of know the hits. This isn't David Coverdale coming from Deep Purple. Like, Whitesnake had like 6 albums before.
Yeah,
this. So
yeah,
this is,
I know.
he left Deep Purple like a decade ago
Right.
by this point.
I was just saying that's where he
Yeah,
started.
no, but that's a lot of people think like
Yeah.
this is where they came out. A lot of people
Right.
might even know he replaced Ian Gillan in Deep Purple,
Right.
which his albums and the Deep Purple albums are great.
So what do you think about this one?
This surprised me. I liked it more than I thought.
Did you?
I know the hits.
Okay. Maybe you won't be mad then, because I hated this.
I mean, it just this wasn't like it surprised me in the fact that I didn't dislike it as much as I thought I was going to dislike it. it was better than I was anticipating. That it doesn't mean it's fantastic. Where like something similar sounding band, we did Great White earlier.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. I enjoyed that album.
Yeah, for sure.
Had the same kind of feeling with these two bands. Where this one I listened to, I was like, okay, it's a little better than I expected, but I haven't listened to it since.
There's 2 tracks on this that I like, and that's Crying in the Rain and Still of the Night.
Still of the Night's a great song.
Yeah, Still of the Night's an amazing song.
And this has got the hits.
Here I Go Again.
Here I Go Again. Does
Yeah.
this have It's This Love? I can't remember.
Yes, it does.
So it's got Still of the Night.
Yeah.
Here I Go Again. It's This Love. They're the 3 biggest hits.
Right.
Are on this album.
Now, I don't like Here I Go Again or Is This Love, so that didn't do anything for me.
Here I Go Again is so cliche. Is This Love is corny.
That may be one of the lamest ballads I have ever heard.
And that's Styx.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like a Styx song.
Yeah.
The one that stuck out to me on this one was Children of the Night.
Okay.
It's just a heavier song.
Yeah.
I don't go and when I want to like the album, I want to like the deeper cuts other than the hits. I already know the hits. I'm bored of the hits mostly.
Yeah.
And there was at least 3 or 4, but when I read off my list, it's not high on my list. It just surprised me that there were some good Whitesnake songs, because I'm not a Whitesnake fan.
I'm not either. And this album did not make me one.
No.
Still of the Night, oddly enough, I used as entrance music for wrestling a couple times. So I do like that song. But I picked Crying in the Rain as my pick just to be different.
It's
because
a good
I feel like everybody knows.
But Crying in the Rain's a good song. Children of the Night's a good song. If you listen to some of these deep cuts, like you don't know, those songs are more along the lines of the harder stuff. Like, you know, like I can't compare it to like Motley Crue, but it's just like maybe the harder edge of Cinderella stuff.
Okay.
You know, and it's, like I said, it just surprised me a little bit, but I'm not a Whitesnake fan.
Mm-hmm.
Whitesnake to me is like for soccer moms.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
You know,
I rank them up with like Journey.
Yeah.
Like shit that I don't really care for.
And like, to be fair, I dislike Whitesnake a lot to the point where I never gave the stuff he did in Deep Purple a chance. And now that I've given the stuff like years ago, he and Deep Purple was amazing. Like Burn and stuff like that. Like he kills it.
Yeah, yeah.
It just made me never want to hear it because I didn't like Whitesnake.
See, when people listen to like Whitesnake and Journey, like they're the kind of people that want to speak to your manager because their latte was wrong. Like,
and I've always thrown in Guns N' Roses as soccer mom rock.
I disagree,
but
they're too heavy for that.
They're not.
They're too heavy for that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. They're not on this list.
So, number 11 is going to be Tesla with the Great Radio Controversy, 1989, and I love this album. How about you?
No comment. I hate this so much.
Do you really?
I could not stand this at all.
Now, that one surprises me.
See, I hated this album with a passion. I was so bored with it. Like, it was...
I was a Tesla fan going into this.
I never was, really. Right. Like, I knew Love Song. I knew the hits.
Mm-hmm.
I knew...
Great song, Love Song.
That's this one, right?
Yeah.
Huh? So I knew that, but like I was expecting so much. I know you liked them. My brother likes them. Tattoo Dave likes them. So I was like, I'm going to give this a chance. I was so bored in this. Like, literally wanted to stop on track 6 by this point.
Really? So do you even have a track to pick?
I forced my way for a track, as did it for the money.
Okay. Mine is Heaven's Trail, No Way Out. That's track 3. I love that song.
I can't. Tell me why you like this. Like, what about
this? Oh, my God. I love the vocals. I think the guitar players are some of the most underrated guitar players of that era.
We say that a lot, first of all.
That's true. But there's so many... At this time, though, so many talented people are out there.
Yes.
So many talented people.
What year was this?
89.
Okay.
But even just the whole glam scene from beginning to end was just filled with talented people. Just... shredding guitar solos and you know, but I love the vocals on this. I love the guitar solos.
He is a good singer.
Yeah.
I think the guitar players are good. I don't know. The riffs are so boring. They're so paint by numbers blues rock.
I could see why
I can't.
That's not your thing though. Like I like Great White. I like Tesla.
But Great White was more than that.
They were.
After listening to it, where this wasn't. This falls right in with everything I shit on. Like, I always said I would always use Faster Pussycat or Cinderella as, like, the go.
Your example, yeah.
But, like, it might be this now.
Okay.
Like, because this was, like, just everything that I disliked about the genre was, like, this album.
Okay.
Like, and I know I sound really passionate about it, but, like, I literally just listened to it for the first time ever. From start to finish.
Right.
And I hated it.
Okay.
I hated it.
Okay.
Like, I literally hated it.
Fair enough.
Would it be number 50 on my list? No. But it might be in the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah, for a band that I've seen before, but the songs that I like aren't on here. Really, you know what I mean? Like this one. I'm not like shitting on the band. It was just like this
album.
This experience was tough for me.
Okay.
And love songs are great too. Love
Yeah,
Song.
Love Song is
He did it for the money, I guess. I kind of like because I liked his voice. What's his name? Is
Jeff
Keith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's did great on that, and Love Song is a great ballad. But like, I hated this album so much.
Okay,
So there we go. So we had our fight for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, we kind of had a dispute during the first episode, and then we kind of agreed on the two after
Yeah.
that. So now we're back to disputing.
Yeah.
But now we got to break it down.
Now we gotta break it down.
So let's start at number 20. Do you want to start?
What do you think? My number 20 is Tesla.
Okay.
Really hated it.
Okay.
Really.
Well, this is where we're going to butt heads, actually, because my number 20 was Twisted Sister.
Oh, crikey.
So the one that you really liked.
Crikey.
Yes, I just couldn't do it. So 19.
I'm out of here.
What was 19 for you?
19 for me, I guess it moved up a spot, Love and Hate.
Okay.
Just wasn't memorable. And this list to me was almost an 7 album list. I hated Tesla. Love Hate was memorable for me, but
So what'd you do after Love Hate?
I went with Whitesnake.
Okay. So my 19 and 18 are reversed. I did Whitesnake at 19, and I did Love Hate at 18.
Okay.
Because out of the 3 albums I just named, I liked more tracks on the Love Hate than I did Twisted Sister and Whitesnake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're still in agreement other than you not having bad taste about
Twisted Sister. So that brings us to, why don't you give me 17 and 16?
See, these were so hard to live. This was
From here forward, it got tough.
so hard for me. So 17 for me, I had to put Quiet Riot there, and just because I liked it, it was a good album. I would listen to that album again. Just I don't know, It just the worst out of the rest, I think. And then 16 for me, it's gonna mess up your list with Cinderella.
Okay, so it wasn't number 1 for you.
No, just because honestly, do I like the album? Yeah, but the other ones are so much better.
Okay, so for me, 17 was Extreme.
Okay.
And 16 was Quiet Riot.
Okay.
I thought they were both, solid albums. Quiet Riot, I think, kicked a little harder. That's why I went with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It did kick a little harder, yeah.
You want to give me 15, 14, and 13?
All right, 15, 14, 13. 15 for me was Extreme.
Okay.
Should be higher on the list, but I mean, Jesus. Like,
Nuno Betancourt makes it really something.
Yeah, it just Gary literally kills it that much.
Okay.
And now from 14 on, I just pick and choose, man. Like, it doesn't matter. But 14 I wrote down, it was tough for me, these ones. I went with Dirty, Rotten, and Filthy Stinking Rich.
For 14?
I did, yeah. Looking at it now, maybe I should switch that and Cherry Pie. but like, Cherry Pie, okay, we're not talking about Cherry Pie, sorry. And 13, again, tough for me, but I went with Pyromania there.
Okay, all right. So my 15 was Pyromania, Def Leppard. 14 for me was Warrant, Cherry Pie. Okay. And 13 was Cinderella, Shake Me.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Night Songs.
I'm sorry, Night Songs. I was reading my track that I picked.
So, I mean, we're right in the wheelhouse. It's just, everything from here on was hard for me. Like, at this point. Because literally from 14 on, you could have... Well, from 14, 13, and 12. 12 for me was Cherry Pie.
Okay.
Meaning, my favorite album was Stay Hungry.
Okay, and that was my least favorite. Yeah. All right. Well, my 12 was Tesla.
Okay.
And my 11 was Warrant, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, which you were right about.
Which I was right about.
So,
and that's funny. My number 1 and your number 2 are each other's.
Yeah. How opposite with that?
Like, that's crazy.
That? So what did you pick for Best Ballad?
I mean, more of the words.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did Thunderbird.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did Thunderbird. My honorable mention was Love Song, but Thunderbird is my favorite ballad.
My honorable mention would have been...
probably something from Warren.
Which one? Was it Sometimes She Cries?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
One of them.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sometimes She Cries more than all the other ones. And is Mr. Rainmaker a ballad? Maybe.
It could borderline on a ballad.
But, like, easily for me, it was more than words. It's beautifully written, beautifully sang. Everything about it. And for me, obviously, if it's not the best guitar player, it's Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no other option, really.
There is, but Phil Collin from Def Leppard. I mean, the guys, I can't even remember their names.
I think that Nuno is just that good in this list that nobody could touch him.
Ball game.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game.
Yeah. So that was the list.
I'm still offended.
We got... So me too.
I'm offended.
I still got to do the top 10 with you. We'll have our special guest with us for that one. Another family member. We'll worry about that when he's here. He can introduce himself because he's an idiot.
Yes, he is.
So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to the top 10. I know every album on there except two of them.
Okay,
but there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
you know, and then the other one, the rest, they're big bands.
Yeah,
that should be there.
I agree. It's an interesting list. The top 10 is, I think, but overall, I enjoyed listening to it, and I'm ready to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to it.
We got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So they'll give me time to get an actual real opinion on two of the albums that I'm already one of the albums I've talked about, and we will give it spoiler, Faster Pussycat's on there, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to give it another chance and listen to it and have an opinion. So that's a big deal. And then what was the one? Was it Kicks?
Kicks Blow My Fuse.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Which is funny because me and Miss Vegas went to see Vixen and Kip Winger, and one of the first T-shirts I saw walking in was Kicks Blow My Fuse. Really? I was like, what are the odds that somebody would have that shirt?
I have no opinion on that band. I got to really listen to it and give it a chance. So other than that, though, the other 8 albums, yeah.
Okay.
That's a top 10 right there.
Well, let's wrap up today's episode the same way we always do. Check the link in the description of the show for your Insane Labs. Our Vegas 30 saves you 50%. Never looked better, never felt better, never been stronger, so check that out.
Yeah, man, you feel great.
He's touching me. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm very uncomfortable. And so we'll catch you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast. And thank you for joining us, and we will see you for the top 10 of the Rolling Stones Top 50.
I'll be here.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is powered by our Amazon affiliation. That's right, we're back on the Amazon train. If you go to GearNetwork.com under the Support the Shows banner, click the Amazon link. It will take you directly to your Amazon account, and you can do all of your Christmas shopping, holiday shopping, or regular shopping there. If that doesn't work, click on any one of the banners you see on GearNetwork.com. It will take you to Amazon as well. Using our banners, using our links, helps power this podcast in a way that we appreciate very much. So again, GearNetwork.com, click on any one of the banners to shop Amazon and support this podcast.